What is going on, gents? It's R.P.M. here, reporting from Mobile Command. Gentlemen, Anton Daniels has been putting out a series of very interesting videos as of late. Now, speaking of Anton Daniels, believe it or not, Anton Daniels is now R.P.M. For those of you who might not know, who are new to my channel, R.P.M., the acronym stands for Red Pill Married. Yes, gentlemen, for the longest time, I have never hidden my marital status. In fact, it was my marital status that drew a lot of guys in. Why? Because for the longest time, I was the only married man getting on here telling the truth about marriage with my own personal experiences. Now, you've got a big YouTuber, Anton Daniels, who is saying the exact same things that I've been saying for years. But it's good. Why? Because there needs to be more married men who are saying this is not the way to go. These are the experiences that 99.996% of married men refuse to talk about. Why? Because they are under the happy wife, happy life illusion / delusion. But I want to get into a certain video that he did, which I went back and looked at the source article. Yeah, gentlemen, things are definitely getting a hell of a lot more interesting, and all you have to do is sit back, grab your popcorn and drinks, and enjoy the show. Now, this article was published on the 18th of July. It's lengthy, but guess what? I'm going to chop it down for time. Quote unquote, a stunning social change. A record percentage of Americans are now living alone. Nearly 30% of U.S. households. Now, on its face, it's saying Americans. However, gentlemen, I know that you guys are going to do the exact same thing that I'm going to do, which is what? Read between the lines and look out for the coded language. Here's why the rapid growth of quote-unquote solitaries has worrisome consequences. See, that phrase right there already points you into the direction of which gender they're talking about. That's right, women. Now, how did I deduce that? Well, once again, the coded language. They're saying that these women are solitaries. Now, when it comes to men who choose to live alone, we get no such grace. Oh, we're financially, unattractive. We're economically non-viable. We know the typical shaming language. But let's get back to the article. Quote unquote, forget having a big wedding and kids. Whether by choice or by chance, more Americans are living on their own, continuing a quiet trend that has persisted for decades. Choice. Ladies, you have no choice in marriage. That is and will always be the choice of us men. Let's take the liquor ladies out of the equation. When it comes to regular marriage, men have always and will always be the one to offer that. Remember, you're trying to bid for our last name. You have to prove yourself worthy for us. However, more and more men have said, nope, nope, nope. When you look at the absolute and corrupt family and divorce court industry, yeah, you think men are not seeing what's happening to guys like, Scottie Pippen, Kevin Costner? Yeah, guys are saying, I don't want to be that guy. Marriage? No thanks. A recent Census Bureau report reveals that 27.6% of all American households were one-person households in 2020, more than triple than 1940's figure of 7.7%. Now, why are we trying to compare modern times to more traditional times? 1940. Well, we can go ahead and break that down extremely quickly. 1940s. Was there rampant feminism? No. Was there the Great Society program? No. Was there blatant misandry? No. See, you can see why back then there were nuclear families that were encouraged to form. However, now the nuclear family has been all but destroyed. Quote unquote, it's just a stunning social change. Eric Klinenberg, sociologist at New York University, told The Hill. Quote unquote, I came to see it as the biggest demographic change in the last century that we failed to recognize and take seriously. Once again, they're talking about women. When it comes to men living alone, we are perfectly okay and we're perfectly content with solitary living. Give us a dog, give us our entertainment, give us our hobbies. We're good. More Americans are going solo. There are several factors that could be contributing to this trend of solitary living. More Americans are choosing to marry later, if at all. Census Bureau data shows, while some are opting out of having children. See, this right here, these are two areas that are both completely in the male realm of control. We choose whether or not we're going to marry, and now more men are choosing whether or not that they're going to even attempt to have kids. Like I said, with all of the corrupt social programs, men have realized that the juice is no longer worth the squeeze, and guess what? Children are going to be weaponized against them. So yeah, in the terms of cost benefit, yeah, more men are saying no. More women are also participating in the workforce and becoming financially independent. Yeah, no. They are not becoming financially independent. They're being given the illusion of financial independence. However, if there were no social programs specifically for women, then guess what? That illusion of financial independence would fall off just like a mask falling off of someone in a movie. Yeah, we all know it is smoke and mirrors. Quote unquote, you really don't see people living alone until women have control of their own lives and their own bodies, Klinenberg said. Now, this is where you definitely get the silver bullet as to who they're talking about and why they say it's worrisome. This trend isn't necessarily being driven by the young. While the overall share of Americans living alone increased between 2010 and 2020, so did the proportion of one-person households headed by older adults, 65 and over. Gentlemen, there you have the silver bullet to who they're really talking about. That's right, old women. Now, I find this extremely interesting because this solidifies the point that I just talked about. This could come down to the surge in quote-unquote gray divorce, where couples call it quits later in life and often after decades of marriage. See? Gray divorce, we know that is already skyrocketed. However, like everything else in life, women do not look further down the line. Oh, we've been together for all this time. You know what? I'm not happy, even though I'm 56 years old. I want to still go out and do my own thing. Ladies, gray divorce? What they're essentially saying, without saying, is that gray divorces for women are actually a death sentence. Now, I don't mean death as in, kicking the bucket. No. It's more of a living death. Why? Because older men prefer their solitude. Older women still need a social network. And guess what? Gray divorce, yeah, that network tends to go ahead and be cut off. Now, let's not even talk about the whole Golden Girls things. That was a TV show, ladies. Real life does not work that way. According to the Pew Research Center, the divorce rate for Americans aged 50 and older has roughly doubled between the 1990s and 2015. Consequences of solitary living. While some researchers see this as an exciting trend for the future, others are more pessimistic about the potential implications. Okay, gentlemen, here's where they try to use the fearmonger and try to gaslight you by saying, oh, more men are dying alone, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no. Now, of course, the meat sack being a nurse that specializes in elderly care, there are way many more women in nursing homes than there are men. For one, America's rapidly aging population and declining birth rate means there will be fewer prime age workers in the labor force. Once again, this is another unforeseen consequence of the blatant misandry that men are subject to. Men are saying, fuck marriage, fuck relationships, fuck having kids. I'm going at life alone. And of course, women, in their utter and total arrogance, refuse to see further down the line, the further implications, the further consequences. But hey, guess what, gentlemen? That is not your cross to bear. Here are some of the pros and cons of solitary living. More independence. Living alone definitely has its perks. You don't have to answer to anyone or compromise your living situation. Now they use this as a con, higher living costs. Keep in mind that with great independence comes great responsibility. You don't have another person with whom to share chores or split bills. In fact, renters living alone in a one-bedroom apartment contend with a quote-unquote singles tax of up to $19,500 a year in America's priciest cities, according to real estate giant Zillow. Nationwide, singles pay almost $7,000 extra per year to live in a one-bedroom apartment, which honestly I think is total crap if it is true. Career advancement potential. When you live with a partner or children, you have other people to think about before making certain life decisions. This can impact your career by closing you off to more opportunities. Now, let me go ahead and briefly talk about that. Yeah, a lot of corporations prefer married men. Why? Because married men are more controllable by said corporations. Yeah. Now let's go back to another old trope that they'll try to use. Married men make more money. That is a half truth. Why? Because yes, married men do make more money. However, they spend more money. Now, what do you mean? Well, I'm glad you would ask. Well, they don't tell you about all of the consumables that married men have to go through. If he's got a house, guess what? That mortgage. And they don't talk about the insurance on that house he has to pay. Cars, multiple cars, guess what? Multiple car payments and multiple insurance payments. Oh yeah, medical, dental. They don't talk about that. Yeah, married guys may make more money on the surface, but beneath the surface, they are actually hemorrhaging money, which is why a lot of married guys, when you really break it down, they are actually broke as hell, but they gotta maintain the facade. Aging alone. If you're not careful, aging alone will have implications for your future finances. Yeah. All in all, gentlemen, what can we come to the conclusion of? That's right. A lot more women in their elderly years are living alone, which is why they're trying, even though it's going to be a failed attempt, to say to men, hey, you might want to think about getting married. But when it came to the paragraph for the Great Divorce, they literally torpedoed their own argument. They surely did. But yeah, all in all, more and more people are living solo. Guess what? For us men, solitary living is great. For women, they're going to fake like it's great, but we know at the end of the night when they're home alone, yeah, they're crying in their soup. Well, I've rambled on long enough. Read the full article. Let me know what you guys think. And women around the world, especially you elderly women, understand this. The power that you had in your youth has definitely gone out. Feminism, which is honestly a young woman's hustle, has gone out right along with it. And yeah, when that happens, guess what? You will be solitary, you will be alone, and guess what? Hey, that's when buy a dog, die alone truly comes into play. It is what it is. That's all I got to say for this one. R.P.M. I am